A fun story. I came to Miami Saturday from my man Brendan Boyd. He had a workshop. He's my podcast mentor, and it's a good friend. And came down here, and I said, I'm going to stay. So I now live in Miami.
For real?
I'm serious. Yeah.
Man, that is awesome, man. Like, hey, that's what I love about entrepreneurship. If, like, man, you can just go somewhere and say, hey, look, I live here now. That is awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. So I've been searching for some new energy, and I haven't been able to figure out what is it exactly that I need. But when I got here, I said, this is it. And I had said I wanted to live there, so it might be the Jamaican in me, but I'm a water, sun kind of guy. And,
so you're completely done with Atlanta, or you're in Atlanta and Miami?
Well, I still have my house, so it's still there. But I'm living here though, bro. I'm living here and happy to be here, and I'll figure out where I'm gonna live exactly. I don't know that part yet, but that's I think part of it is it's okay to not know exactly what you're gonna be doing.
For sure.
You can figure it out along the way. I said, like I'm not homeless. I'll hop around. I'll figure out. But yeah, I now reside in Miami, and no notice, no asking. I'm here.
Yeah.
Do you think I'm crazy?
No, man. I think it's amazing, man. Like, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't think about moving? Well, you didn't plan on moving to Miami when you came.
No,
that's a decision you made when you got there.
So you might want to go. I plan on coming for the workshop, and I said that either I'll stay here and go from Afrotech here, or I'll go back home and go to Afrotech. But I said, all right, I'm just going to stay here. The energy was right.
Yeah.
The energy was right. So here we are. So what's something in your life that you've always said you wanted to do, that you can do, that you haven't done yet?
I want to own real estate out of the country. One, for tax purposes, I heard places like Dubai, the Bahamas, if I'm not mistaken, they don't have any property taxes. And because I do have a daughter, it might have more kids if God give me a wife in the future, right? I don't want to necessarily have to worry about property taxes, because property taxes been going up every year. I remember a house that used to be like $3,000 a year worth of property taxes. I'm now spending $8,500 on it in my lifetime. So, the value of the house went up too, but still, like, that's a never ending increase in bill. So yeah, man, I think I definitely, and the first time I went to the Bahamas, I ended up running into Ricky Smiley in like a random convenience store. I think it was in Bimini or somewhere. Great dude. And I was like, man, I just love the Bahamas. It was super hot, but the Bahamas was really nice though.
Yeah, Bahamas is hot. The Bahamas Were you in Nassau?
I think I went to Bimini, and then I went to not Nassau. We went somewhere else.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I gotta go to Nassau next time. I think everybody say Nassau's where it's at.
Nassau's nice. Yeah, Nassau's nice. Nassau's dope. What do you think is holding you back from anything that you want to explore on, if anything?
Past trauma. I think the same thing that holds a lot of our listeners back. So for anybody that may not know, back in 2017, I went homeless as an entrepreneur. I stayed an entrepreneur. So intentionally, like, I have been playing it conservative. And don't be like me, you guys. I'm just going to be transparent with you. Is that, like, man, like this house that I'm in now, this is an average 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that I use as a media house. It appreciates. It makes money. It's a solid investment. I could have bought a Lamborghini with what I paid for this house, like, and paid it all cash. So I do notice, me personally, because I was broke and homeless before, that before I do something that just makes me happy or just gives me enjoyment, I'm like, okay, is this a good investment? Or I would like to invest more first and then get whatever it is that I want later. And yeah, so I'll be the old man driving a Lamborghini because now I feel like I got enough investments I can enjoy it.
So you're over conservative, even though you have the money due to past trauma.
For sure. For sure. Yep.
How do you shake that?
That's what I'm working on. Because you know, a lot of my mentors, my very first mentor was my uncle, and I got a lot of older mentors. And man, the older mentors be like, "That's not even trauma. Like that's what you're supposed to do. Like wait till you're 70, then buy a new car. Like you know, get your stock portfolio, get your real estate, get your business together, and then live at 70. Like, but when I go to Atlanta, that's what I love about Atlanta is, man, like it's people that's in their early 20s with a McLaren and a Lamborghini and a G-Wagon and a $3 million mansion. And they like, yeah, like, man, like just do it now. So
live now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so crazy because we have the option to live now, but society told us to wait till 65, 70. But really, I saw your boy Chris maybe 80,000 in option play yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but how much money did he have to invest to make that? How much of that was profit?
Well, I think what he showed was the profit. I don't know how much he had in the trade, to be honest with you. Okay. But yeah, what he showed was the profit.
So 80 was the profit. Damn.
Yeah.
And some people
so he made all his money back plus the 80. Yeah.
So some people think that has to be a year or 2 years or 3 years worth of work, but it's. I have a friend. He had a concept called "Live Retired Now," and it's it's funny because he actually lived in Miami. He had went to England on a trip to meet another woman. Apparently, he met his wife there, or his now wife there. Long story. And he now lives in England, married with a son, all because he said "F it." If you can say "F it," what's the worst thing that can happen? You'll tend to be happier, and you'll be able to tell a story. The great thing about life is you're able to tell a story once you do stuff. But if you don't do stuff, you have no story to tell.
Yeah. Okay. Couple questions. All right. So how do you decide when to do it for me and for the listeners, right? Selfish question. And how do you balance doing what you want to do with establishing generational wealth? Because I could for sure say, hey, look, you know what? This house has appreciated. I can get way more than what I got in it out of it. I can actually buy a Lamborghini and have some change left over with what the house is worth now and go back to working. I used to work out of my primary residence is a 3-story house. I would just work on the 3rd floor. I turned that entire floor into my office. So I'm like, when do you decide, okay, you know what, it's time to live? And how do you balance that with, okay, like the money you spending now to live, that's money that you could have invested somewhere for generational wealth or whatever future, right? You trying to establish.
MVP, minimal viable product. What's the minimum you need to try the thing? Not the maximum. Because I think people like you sometimes focus on the maximum. What's the maximum you need? But what's the minimum you need to try the thing? So,
because I feel like if you're in Miami, I need $1 million just to get a house.
Do you need a house?
A basic house.
Do you need a house? Probably not.
Not to live.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the minimum you need to do it? So for me, I have some real estate, I have some stocks, I have a Roth IRA. So I have some things, and I don't plan on going back, but I could go back. My flight costs $47. I can go right back to that house and go back to live. So
$47 is crazy too.
Frontier Airlines have the deals. So for me, it's what's the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario is blank. I have my Virginia online notary license, so I could do online notarizations for $25 a piece of paper for Virginia, right? So $25. So I have that. I still have my notary agency. I have my online academy. I have YouTube. I have my personal coaching. I've created enough of a foundation where I can make money anywhere that I'm at. Let it ride. I think some people try to jump off the porch with nothing. Then some people try to jump off the porch with everything, and there's a lot of gray here. And when people think, okay, worst case scenario is I'm uncomfortable for 2 months. I miss some people. I need to make some new friends. It's like, all right, I can do all that stuff. Mm-hmm. It's all doable. We have these fake fears in our heads, like what if, and it's like it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So MVP, minimal viable product. What's the minimum you need to take some action? Like you could buy that house in Bahamas next week if you wanted to.
Yep. You know what's crazy right now? Just not even flexing. We've been averaging like $2,500 a day net profit, and I still feel like I can't afford to go to Miami. Like, I can go visit, but like to Miami, I still feel like I can do a good 2 weeks, and then I need to come back.
Well, since you shared this information, how have you been making $2,500 a day? And congrats on that.
Yeah, so one of the big things that I think a lot of people don't focus on is that you don't got to get rich alone. So what we like to do is just like you, we got paid mentorship programs where people can just come learn how to do what we do. But what we do is we go find that's one option. But what we do is go find established businesses that are making money offline, help them bring it online, and then take equity in the company. So just doing our equity deals, taking equity in companies, like just for the viewer watching, right? I'm from a little country town in South Carolina. I live in a little country town now in North Carolina and own property in both states. But if you just think about if you go to church or whatever kind of socializing you do wherever you go to do it, man, there's baby boomers all around you. Some of those baby boomers own businesses. I think the data says that it's still more baby boomers with businesses than any other generation. And that generation never learned how to be absentee owners. So what I'm intentional about is as many as possible over the next 10 to 15 years, not to be morbid, but I think this opportunity will literally die out with the person, is I'm targeting baby boomers that have successful businesses but don't know how to retire. And saying, hey, look, well, what if, like, for example, I go to church with an accountant and he has 300 clients that he services a year. It's really great. The brother is in his mid to late 70s. The business he runs is over 100 years old. So his father started the business before he was born. And he said his father started making him do taxes by hand at 12 years old at the kitchen table. So now he's been doing taxes since he was 12, and his dad has been doing it since before he was born. So now this is a 100+ year accounting business. So he's really great at what he does, but he's a solopreneur. He's a solopreneur because dad was a solopreneur, right? And so all he knows is doing everything himself. Now he'll have a secretary, and all she does is answer the phone and book appointments. But with AI, that could be an AI tool. They can call in, and an AI tool can book the appointment. That will remove you having to have payroll for that person, and it's probably cheaper than what that person costs as well. And I talk to him. I see him every week in church, and I was like, well, my business is not 100 years old. My business started in 2014, and then it evolved over the time. But we do around 3,000 sales a year. What if your business did 3,000 sales a year? Could you even handle 3,000 clients? He was like, be honest with you, no, but I would figure it out. Like, I would love to have that kind of problem. So that's how we had that's how I started the conversation, right? So I talked to accountants about it. I talked to my barber, right? A lot of baby boomers, barbering still is an honorable profession, but there's a lot of old school barbers that now they can't stand up as long as they could. These old school barbers, they don't believe in the enhancements. Like people like me that got a little gray hair showing. We like, hey man, paint my head, man. I don't want my gray to show. And they like, man, I ain't a painter, I'm a barber. Well, guess what? We want a painter and a barber. So they gonna get forced out of the market if you're not willing to do what the people want to pay you for. So helping them figure out, okay, you got all of these years in barbering, you never had a barber school. What if I could help you create a barber school, use social media to get the word out? I don't know anything about how to cut hair, but it's Googleable how to create a barber school, and I'll help you grow it via social media. And all the money you make standing up in the barbershop cutting hair is your money. Let's get equity. Let me get equity in the barber school. Yeah, so definitely that's how we be making money. It's been straight up old school. No, I'm gonna be transparent with you guys watching. It was no fancy ad, no specialized funnel. It was no magic sauce that I said. It's just talking to people, right? Wow. It's just talking to people and saying, hey, look, man, how's business going? Blah, 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 blah. I need to go get a haircut anyway. We got to do our taxes anyway. Just talking to regular people. And because you guys are watching this show, and because I got love for my brother Dre and I don't hold nothing back, the gold mine right now, which this might even, 90+% of y'all ain't going to do nothing with it, so I can say it. But, man, daycare centers. Daycare centers. I'm telling you, I don't plan on changing no diapers or standing up in a daycare center all day long, but funeral homes and daycare centers are going to always be a necessity. And what I've ran into is that there's a lot of older women that started these daycare centers to take care of their families, take care of whatever. And now their kids kind of look at daycare as like a step down. They went to college, they went to the military, they went out to the big city. Yeah. I ain't trying to come back and be blowing noses and wiping butts and cleaning up Cheerios. Like, they're like, nah, I got a bachelor's, master's, doctorate degree. Like, you know, they see themselves, and this is not a bad thing, they see themselves as above that type of work, right? They might say, look, I enjoy getting rid of my kids, taking them to school, taking them to daycare, having that break for a while, right? So, but these businesses are easy six-figure businesses, right? Easy six-figure businesses. The state will give you money. The parents will give you money, right? There's so many ways that you can create different income streams by doing field trips, by teaching the kids, preparing them for kindergarten, right? So one thing that, and I'm gonna be honest, I found out about this because a family friend was in childcare. She told me ever since I was in the military, in the Marines, and I got out the Marines in 2012, right? She said, man, put some of your money in daycare. And I'm like, man, look, man, I'm a grown man. I'm in the Marines. I'm heterosexual. I mean, man, that's something that you would tell a punk to do. Like, man, you know, and I know we're not supposed to say that. I'm just telling you my mindset at the time, right? So I was like, man, look, like, man, I ain't getting no daycare. I'm a man. Don't no man own no daycare. Then I had a daughter. And once I had a daughter, I say, man, what you say about them daycare centers? How much money they can make? Yeah, because now I'm paying the daycare center at a time, when she was smaller, right? Man, like, money every week. Every week it prints. So learn how to be an absentee owner. If you remember one thing from this episode, if you want to know how to be able to make six figures for the rest of your life, learn how to be an absentee owner by whatever means. YouTube University, Udemy, find somebody that got a course and pay for it. Pay for their mentorship, right? This is literally what I'm doing as well, right? And then, man, go offer that service to baby boomers. I think that, in my humble opinion, bigger than crypto, even bigger than AI. I know people are going to disagree with me, but while everybody is focused on crypto, AI, new sexy stuff, that we're still seeing, like, what are going to be the use cases. So we're still seeing people become more creative and try this and try that, and we're seeing how it pans out. But nobody is paying attention to all of these six-figure businesses where the owner is trapped in the business and they're willing to give you equity. There's an old man in every city or old woman in every city that does taxes, that keeps children, right? In the country, they don't even say child care facility. Like, I keep children, right? So, man, there's facilities out. There's an old barber. Like, there's a barber. Think about the barber that cut your hair when your feet wouldn't even reach the pedals, right? If he's still living, man, he not going back to college and now learning how to do AI and all this other stuff, man. Like, he's. So
you're doing this, JP, for online and offline businesses?
Say it again.
This leverage equity play that you're doing is for online and offline businesses?
Well, we bring them online if they're offline.
Okay,
So,
got
yeah.
So
So
they're missing something, and you fill in what they're missing.
Yep. They're missing the internet, and for our generation, it's easy, right? So here's the thing. Here's how we mess it up. Here's how I messed it up, and other people messed it up in the beginning too. You come in there talking about money, right? And now this is their whole life, or the majority of their life. So you come in there talking about money. Well, look, man, I raise my kids off of this. I pay my bills off of this. If you want my business, right, I want $1 million. I want $2 million. I want, some astronomical amount of money, because they're pricing it based off of what they value their life's work to be, right? So I don't come to them trying to buy their business and kick them out. I come to them saying, hey, if there was a way that I could help you have more freedom, would you be interested in it? Right? Now, I use way more words than that, but I'm oversimplifying it so you can understand. But that's all I'm offering. Hey, look, if right now this gentleman that has 300 clients a year does it straight word of mouth, no Google business page, no website, no social media. So his dad had clients. Those clients had kids and grandkids. They go to the same accountant grandma went to. They passed away, and it's just generations of families. And now over time, you got 300 clients, right? Mm-hmm. If we say, let's create a Google business page, it costs nothing. Let's offer everybody a 10% discount on their taxes, on their bookkeeping, on their whatever. If you're happy with the service and you're willing to give us, a review, right? We'll give you 10% off your next blah, 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 right? If you're not happy with the service, tell us what we can do better, because we want everybody to have a 5-star experience, because you're not really supposed to tell people to give you a 5-star review. But you could have that conversation with them. And boom, overnight, let's say out of 300, not all 300 people will do it, but let's say that you could consistently have that offer going. Anytime they want a discount, if they haven't given you a review, and over time, if we can get 20% of those people, you got 65-star reviews. The area go ahead.
And I assume, I was trying to thought.
Yeah.
Okay, you keep going.
Yeah. So if we got 65-star reviews in a little country town, you just took over the #1 listing. Right.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. You probably don't even do this work yourself. You probably have your employees do most of this work, don't you?
Yeah, they do 100%. All I do is talk. What I'm doing now is all I do in all of my businesses is talk. I don't do nothing. And for anybody out there that feels that is bad or wrong, I'm Christian. I'm not trying to tell you got to be Christian, but I'm Christian. I'm going to be transparent about it. And I believe that God created everything with words, right? He said, let there be, and then it was. So if it was good enough for God, it's good enough for me. So I talk, man.
You stick to your strengths. Stick to your strengths. And when people feel that they need to do everything themselves, JT, I always know that they're going to be limited in their growth, because 1, they're control freaks. 2, they don't trust anybody. 3, they can't see outside of themselves.
For sure. What happens lots of times is they start off not being able to afford the software that can do it for them, or the personnel, right? So they start doing it themselves. At a certain point, if you do business the right way long enough, you get enough financial resources to be able to outsource those things. But then you mistakenly believe, why should I pay for something where I could do it myself for free? And they don't understand, because they usually don't have a mentor or somebody that's been in business long enough to tell them this, is that the reason why you still must pay for the software, you still must hire the employee, is because you're going to be caught up doing the minute details. And if you're so in the trenches with it, then you can't be in 2 places at one time. So if I'm in the trenches trying to figure out, how do you make a Google business page? How do you make a website? How do we create a campaign to get people to do reviews? And I'm so into this, right? I'm not able to see the overall market and what changes are coming down the pipeline, and being able to say, you know what? We really shouldn't even focus on that, because AI is going to get rid of that anyway. We really shouldn't focus on that because how things are going, people are not going to be into that anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So you will spend all of your time building something that's destined to die, right? Ooh. So you got to get out of that, right? So 100%, you got to learn that. And for example, right, real life example, back in the day, when I first started learning how to sell online, I started off with a company called eBay. eBay used to have it where you could go look in well, you still can do this part. You can look up an item before you buy it and see the sold listings. You can see how much it sold for, how often it sold. I would only buy things that were selling for triple on eBay compared to what I was buying it at because there's eBay fees and there's shipping costs, right? Back in the day, I could go inside of Walmart, right? And I could take a picture of an item in eBay, or I could scan the barcode, take a picture of it, type it in. I could look up that item. I could see, let's say, for example, this timer, right? So I try to, be productive in my day. So I bought this timer and the battery's got to get replaced on it. So I'll have a timer going and say, okay, I'm going to give myself 30 minutes to record as many YouTube videos as I can. When the timer goes off, we're going to go focus on something else in our business, right? Because we're still human. You'll get distracted and get in the weeds. So I had to figure out a way to help me do it. And this timer was that, right? But let's say that I could go in and find this timer somewhere for $3. And then I can go online and see, for whatever reason, I don't even know what brand it is, but let's say that this brand of timer, for some reason, the stock went up. This was a Elon Musk special limited edition timer. It was selling for $30 online, right? Okay, I could get it for $3. I could sell it for $30. What we used to do is take a picture of it, list it on eBay. When it sold, eBay had a relationship with PayPal. PayPal will mail you out a debit card. As soon as somebody buys it, you now have $30 on your debit card. We would then go to the store with the money that the customer gave us and buy the item, buy the shipping supplies, take it to the post office, pay to have it shipped, all with their money after they paid for something we didn't have, right? If you were in the trenches of eBay and working in your business, not on your business, you would have went out of business doing it that way, because so many people were scamming people where they would make listings, sell items, move the money, close that PayPal account, make another PayPal account, right? And keep running the play and never ship anything to anybody. That eBay said, we're not going to do that anymore.
Okay. But
if you were in the weeds, in the trenches, and not paying attention to the overall industry, one day you would have looked up and realized that, oh, man, I can't stay in business no more, because that's what happened to a lot of people. If you could wake up with $0 and go to bed with $300 to $450 in profit, that's after you bought the item, after you bought materials, after you shipped it out, right? It's easy, and I know because I did it like a dummy sometimes, but I got myself together, and I know a lot of friends that didn't, right? You spending money as fast as you can get it. I could spend $300, $450 today. I'm going to make another $300, $450 tomorrow if you never had money, if you lack financial literacy, right? And I didn't even know what financial literacy was at the time. So we burning $300, $450 a day just because we know tomorrow we're going to make it back. Uh-oh, I think you might be on mute.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yep, I can hear you now.
Yeah, and it just goes back to, if you needed to, you would. Yep. If you needed to figure it out, you would. And part of my move and expansion and all this stuff is the need for more, the need to grow. And my challenge to people watching this video this week is, what growth are you holding yourself back from? Mm-hmm. What growth, what thing that's there are you scared to go for? Are you not, or you know what to do? It's even worse. You know what to do, but you're not implementing the steps. That should be a sin. I don't know if it's in the Bible. You know what to do. you want it, but you're not implementing the steps. What is it for you? And you got to destroy it, because it has to be destroyed, because it will limit your whole life. And you just go through life, and it's this, and it's that, and it's this, and that. And then you look up and say, damn, like, this thing is 1/3 over, halfway over, maybe. Maybe more than halfway over. And you're like, there's so much on the list that I didn't even go for. And that's no way to live, JT. We need to have a list that's like, and I don't think we need to execute on every idea we have. But if it's something that's a burning desire, you owe it to yourself. And parents are the biggest hypocrites. Shout out to my parents, friends. Because parents will tell their kids that they can do anything they want, but they won't do anything that they want to do. They'll put it all on their kids. Go to any college, I'll pay for it. You do whatever you want to do. But they don't go for their own stuff.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's my advice for this week. JT, what's your advice for the people watching this?
Yeah, one of my mottos is your only limitation is your imagination, right? So, for example, Dre said that if you had to figure it out, you would figure it out. So, what I learned from a great gentleman by the name of Enoch years ago was that if you are struggling to figure out how to get the money to do something that you want, you're focusing on too small of a problem, right? It's the first gentleman I ever met that owned a mountain. And my first question was, how in the world do you own a mountain? I never met anybody that owned a mountain. And he would put treetop Airbnbs. So he had a nice house at the base of the mountain. And then he did Airbnb, like it was a little trail, like you had to park at the bottom and walk up to your Airbnb. But it was real dope. I've never seen anything like that at the time. And I was like, who owns an entire mountain? And he was like, JT, calm down. It's just real estate, right? He was like, man, it's just real estate, just like anything else. Like, you can own real estate, you can own a mountain. And when he told me, though, he said, man, anytime if you catch yourself worrying about a financial problem, if it can be solved with money and you can't figure out how to get the money to solve it, it's because it's too small of a problem.
Damn.
He said, so, for example, he was like, you know what? I own the mountain, right? Well, he said first he owned the base, and then he slowly, bought pieces until he owned the whole mountain. But he said, you know what? I needed the land around the mountain as well, too. Not all of it, but the land directly on both sides. I wanted to own that, too, so we could have more parking for the Airbnbs and whatever, right? He has a bunch of businesses, but this is like his like pet project. And he's worked with Dove, and if you ever seen that Dove commercial that had Bigfoot in it, and he's running through the woods, and then it's this scent, they shot all of that on his mountain, right?
Wow.
For anybody that has ever seen it. So he got paid from Dove and gets paid for different brands on top of making money with Airbnb. He said, JT, at the time that I wanted to buy the land on either side of my mountain, I was cash poor. For anybody that doesn't know what that means, all of his money was invested, and it wasn't something that he could easily liquidate. Now, stocks are or something easy to liquidate. If you own a mountain and you want to sell your mountain, you got to find somebody that has enough money and wants to buy a mountain, right? And he didn't want to necessarily sell his mountain. So what he did was he contacted the person, and it just so happened in this case to be the same person that owned the land on either side of the mountain. And he said, how much money to get the land right here and right here on either side? And the man told him a price. I think the price at the time was like, man, because, you did good business with the mountain and whatever, like, just give me, I think he wanted like 60,000 for both of them. Give me 30,000 for this side, 30,000 for that side. And he was like, man, I don't want to take money out of any of my investments, but I don't have an extra $60,000 that's doing nothing right now that I could just give you for this land. So he said, okay, how much for all of the land from this point to this point, not just what I need? He said, well, if you want that much, it's going to cost you at least $225,000. He was like, okay, can I have your word right now? You do good business as well. If I came up with $225,000, you'll sell me all the land on either side of the mountain, all the way to the road. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, cool. He called all of his friends and said, hey, look, I got the successful business with the mountain. If you want to buy parcels around my business because I'm expanding the business. I'm buying the land on either side, right? If you want to have other businesses that can benefit from the traffic that I'm going to bring and the business that I'm going to bring, right? It's $20,000 a parcel. I've already got the guy to agree to sell it to me for that price. So that's my price. That's not anybody else's price, right? He had 15 people give him $20,000.
Problem solved.
Yep. 15 people give him $20,000, right? That's 300 grand. All right. He gave the man the money to buy the land. He kept his part, right? Gave his friends the other part, put 75 grand in his pocket. Here's what somebody is going to miss. They're going to say, well, I don't got nobody that I could call that got 20 grand. You missed the point, right? Solve a problem big enough that everybody can eat off of it. Wow. Maybe you don't know nobody that got 20 grand. Maybe you know somebody that got 200. Maybe you know somebody that got 2,000. Maybe you know somebody that got good credit. Maybe you know somebody that got a skill set that you need done, and they're willing to use their skill set for free up front because they're going to get a part of the profit on the back end, right? So, yeah, you might not know 15 people that'll send you 20 grand, but who you know with $200, $2,000, good credit, the skill set that you need, and you're willing to give them equity in exchange for whatever it is that they got. So I've been practicing that intentionally, like, hey, look, you know what? Anything that I really want, if I don't have enough liquid capital or just straight up don't have it nowhere to buy it, I'm like, okay, how can I make this bigger so everybody benefits, right? So, okay, go ahead.
I have a friend named Nicole Purvey. I don't know if you know her. She was a great. She's from Philly, but she lives in Georgia now, I believe. She just got her and her team just got an 80-unit apartment building under contract. As she posted yesterday, she said the only solution, not verbatim, but the only solution to your problems is to think bigger. And that's exactly what you just said.
Yep. Any goal you want. Like, so somebody here wants to make $100,000. Well, figure out an opportunity that's going to make you $1 million and be happy with taking 10% of it. That's your $100,000. The problem is that once you figure out how to make $1 million, you want half of it.
Short-sighted and greediness.
Yeah, the number always changes. Right now, you want 100,000, but then you like, well, if I help you make $1 million, I'm gonna need at least half of it, right? Well, no,
everything changes, right?
If you need $1 million, figure out how you can help somebody make 50 million, and then take $1 million out of the 50.
It's the law of nature. JT, thank you for the time. How can people find you?
Yo, yeah, man. Definitely. I'm JT Hustles on Instagram, JT Automations on YouTube, or you can just text my phone 202-601-9347.
202-601-9347.
Yep.
All right. Text JT. And let's end the year strong. Oh yeah, Black Friday. How you closing out Black Friday?
Man, so okay, I'm doing something a little bit different, right? Normally Black Friday, I'm gonna be honest, you guys, I be selfish. I be wanting my businesses to do as well as possible. But I'm trying to have as many of my mentees have a 5-figure day as possible. What we're working on, we don't have all the answers yet because they do a little bit different stuff, is I'm trying to figure out how can I have as many of my mentees have a $10,000 day or greater on Black Friday.
Okay. All right. I'm excited to see it happen.
Yeah. All right.
All right, JT. I'll see you soon, brother.
All right. Peace.
Peace.